I really want to get into this thing about Carrie Champion leaving ESPN First Take and her issue with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith issue with her, I should say as well. So, we all know when Carrie came on, uh, she was beginning. She was a breath of fresh air, man, in my eyes because I saw that, Carrie, man, she was eye candy. You know what I'm saying? She really wasn't saying too much in the beginning, and she was just something good to look at, to be honest with you, man. I thought the chick was sexy. I'm like, damn, this little sexy ass little thing. And everybody in the industry was trying to get with her at that time when she got on the main screen. So, but from all accounts, in the public, she was keeping it professional. I don't know what she was doing behind the scenes, but that ain't really what I'm here to talk about right now. So, yeah, man, you could just see it on the episodes, man. Sometimes, like, um, Carrie Champion's chemistry with Skip Bayless was real good, you know, but hers and Stephen A. Smith seemed a little bit off. I don't know if it's because Stephen A. was out of the studio a lot. Like I told y'all, man, this is the part of the reason why Stephen A. and Skip Bayless had a problem. You heard Skip talk about this numerous times, and then Carrie would sit up there and co-sign that shit. Like when they know Stephen A. has multiple jobs at ESPN, so especially during basketball season, he's got to go out of the state and go to other states and cover these games. Sometimes doing that and covering other events or doing speeches or something. This guy working for ESPN most of the cases, this guy would always try to make sure he could be on there by satellite if he wasn't in the studio. And Skip Bayless just didn't like that, man. And it seemed as if Kerry Champion didn't get a real good chemistry with Stephen A either. And like I said before in the other video, I think she kind of held something against Stephen A because he used to speak fondly of Floyd Mayweather as far as him being a tactician and things like that, and a good businessman, and she really didn't like anything positive said about Floyd Mayweather because of her perceived notion of Floyd Mayweather from the situation with um that woman, alleged woman, the baby mother of Floyd, with the alleged abuse situation, in which Floyd basically said, he backed out because he didn't want any more issues with his, he didn't want his children getting dragged through it, this, that, and the third, you know, whatever. He just wanted it to be over with. But he's always maintained his innocence. And you got chicks like Carrie Champion who never get over stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken, she had an issue back when she was in college or something like that. And I think that like when women have experienced things like that, it always affects them. But to me, she's a fake ass chick because, like I said, you see the situation with Josh Brown. We don't see half the vigor from these hoes with Josh Brown that we seen them give on Stephen A. Smith for him making one quote that was factual about women. So, anyways, man, with Stephen A. always being on the road and stuff like that, man, I think that Carrie being in studio with Skip Bayless gave them a better chemistry. They got to talk a lot more about issues and stuff like that. And I guess she tended to, play the side with Skip Bayless a lot more, as you can see, like on their shows, because it was a common thing that Stephen A. Smith always seemed to get agitated with Carrie, like you know, whenever whenever she had an analysis or something, or she started speaking up, Stephen A would always just have that face where it was like, saying, like, you would never hear this guy agree with her analysis really, or, like have validation to whatever her opinions were on issues. He'd just sit there with that little smug look on his face. And also, Carrie Champion was a part of that issue too because it was times that, you know, she would cut Stephen A. Smith off when he was making a point. And then she would go back and blame it on the producers and shit like that. So that wasn't cool, man. And then there was times when she cut segments short with guests that Stephen A. Smith, was going at it with, and Stephen A. Smith didn't like that. It's funny because Skip Bayless said that he didn't like that ESPN was cutting him off, but Stephen A. Smith seemed to have a problem with Kerry Champion for cutting him off. And then everybody remembers those crazy faces Stephen A. would give Kerry in those situations, and you could see Kerry getting frustrated, but I'll give her credit. She was a professional about that with Stephen A. Smith. She really didn't go in on her, you know. And I think that shit just built up, man. I think it just built up, and then with Stephen A. Smith basically being a guy who is more valuable, hands down, than Cari Champion was the ESPN first take. And Cari Champion, seeing that relationship, probably wasn't really gonna work out between her and him. I'm thinking it's like a little bit of the both, which pushed Cari Champion out and on to ESPN Sports Center. Now, ESPN always try to cover their shit up, and they try to say, well, she always told Stephen A. that she wanted to do Sports Center, this, that, and the third. So they tried to make it look good on TV, but we all knew what it was. Same thing I told y'all with the Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless issues, when they had issues, and then they started acting like they was just the best brothers in the world, shaking hands before every show. Oh, this is my brother, this, that, and the third. We all know how that went down, but that shit was all fabricated, man. So, anyways, man, that's really the reason why Cari Champion, in my opinion, was off of ESPN First Take, just because it just wasn't gonna work out with her and Stephen A. Smith, and it needed to work out with her and Stephen A. Smith and Skip, because the one thing you got to have on the show is chemistry. You don't want all the pieces to not fit. So she was the most expendable. The moderator, somebody you can change, this, that, and the third. It's hard to change a guy like Stephen A. Smith the way him and Skip Bayless would go at it. They was getting ratings and shit like that. And Cari Champion wasn't the one pulling in the ratings. So it is what it is, man. Ticket TV. All right, man. Ticket TV, man. Appreciate you guys listening to that video. Just take a second to go subscribe and like Facebook pages. Follow me on Twitter. And yeah, subscribe, like this video, subscribe to the channel. All the links are below in the description box to both my YouTube channels. Y'all subscribe to both of them. And we're going to keep this good content flowing, man, because over here, y'all going to get the real. Y'all ain't getting no buck dancing. Y'all not getting no cooning. Y'all getting 100% raw. Ticket TV.